Whether you like your racing up top on the cushion or tearing up the pavement, you've come to the right place. This is PRN's At the Track, the show that lets you hear from the roots of racing. Here's your host, Lenny Baticki.
Welcome to PRN's At the Track, presented by Charlotte Motor Speedway. I'm Lenny Baticki. What a way to start off the racing season for NASCAR. Junior taking the win with a 3-car on the pole there for the 500. Remember, now that puts Junior right here at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Sprint All-Star Race in May, and of course the Coca-Cola 600. Time to get your tickets to the 10 biggest days in racing right here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Check charlottemotorspeedway.com. Now, coming up in this show, we're going to be chatting with Anderson Motor Speedway Sylvia Porter as she tells us what's going on at her racetrack in South Carolina. We'll also get the word from Clint Elkins on the big dirt race down at Carolina Speedway next week, and we'll be speaking with Speed Week's champion from the Legends Masters Division, Tom Pistone. But first, Junior winning and he gets on Twitter. Well, remember, on Twitter is PRN at the track, and I know a lot of you are now following Junior. Remember, for dirt track, short track, and Legend Series information 24/7 all week long, PRN at the track on Twitter. Now, let's find out what's hot with the rest of the racing world right now. Well, how about the Dirt Car Nationals over at Volusia County Speedway last week? Scott Bloomquist, Black Sunshine, Yin Yang, whatever you want to call him, he was the champion of the Dirt Car Nationals for the late models, got himself the big gator. But also give a call to Ultimate Super Late Model Series champion Casey Roberts. His win on that special night over Bloomquist was the stuff of legends. A last lap pass to overcome Bloomquist and take the win. Casey Roberts only got one gator, but it's one that'll go down in history. Congratulations to the Bandit. Now, South Carolina's pavement racer, Kyle Benjamin, he got a big win at New Smyrna Speedway, while up in Tennessee, Riley Hickman took the win at Winchester. Corey Henderson, he was over at 411 Speedway in Seymour, Tennessee at their Sweetheart race, got the win in the late models. Now, Justin McDonald, Kart Sport Media's Driver of the Week, couple of big wins in Mississippi, and then he went off to test for Hermie and Elliott Sadler in their new chassis that they're doing for the go-kart world. We'll have to check in with Justin to keep an eye on what's going on there. Could be good stuff from Sadler Racing. Now, coming up this week, Pass is at Greenville Pickens. And hey, how about Lenny Buff, the guy that put in all that money for the brand new surface at Cherokee Motor Speedway? He kicks open the doors for 2 big days of the Southern Nationals, over $51,000 in purse. Lenny Buff, hats off to you for the investment that you put into this racetrack and the big race you've got going on this week. Also, over in Alabama, East Alabama Motor Speedway, the NDRL is there. They'll go up to Smoky Mountain next week. And Concord Motor Speedway, Hickory Motor Speedway, they both open up next week. MoDOC has the big 100 coming up on May 7th or March 7th and 8th. Pass is at Dillon that weekend as well. So racing is everywhere. Get out and support your local racetrack. And speaking of one really top-notch racetrack to support down there in Anderson, South Carolina, joining us now on the line is the promoter from that racetrack, Sylvia Porter. Hey, Sylvia, welcome to PRN's At the Track.
Hi, thank you, Lenny. It's so great to be on with you today.
Your track right down there in WRIX country, Anderson, South Carolina. You've got a lot of racetracks around you, but yours has been there for half a century or more, and your family started that racetrack, didn't they?
My family did start it. My dad, Rupert Porter, had a partner, a gentleman named Charlie Mize, and back in 1963 they found some property nestled in Anderson County, and they decided to build a 3/8 mile short track, which was dirt up until 1986, and then paved, and we're proudly still running on that same asphalt now.
How do folks get there? Before we get going too far, there's people listening all over the East Coast. Where can they find your racetrack?
It's very convenient and very easy to find. We're right off Interstate 85 at exit 27, just a mile and a half north on Highway 81.
What are some of the events that you have coming up on Friday nights throughout 2014 at Anderson Motor Speedway?
The 2014 season is our 51st season of racing at Anderson Motor Speedway, and we have just joined the NASCAR Home Tracks program, and that means we will be a NASCAR Whelen All-American Series racing track, and we will run the late model stocks as our feature division. They will alternate every other Friday night, and then every Friday night that the late model stocks aren't there, we will have special shows filtered in, and just something for everybody, all of our great race fans.
Tell us about some of the Legends races that you've got going on.
The U.S. Legends are a part of our weekly racing series at Anderson. We have 6 divisions. We actually have 7, but we run 6 divisions every Friday night, and the Legends are part of our weekly racing program. They are a great group of folks. Over the course of the years, our program has grown, and we have 20 to 25 Legends drivers competing on the track every Friday night. The Master, Semi-Pro, Pro, and Young Lions, they all race together, and it puts on quite an exciting race. They run 20-lap features. We also are very proud to always host a regional qualifier for the U.S. Legends, and it's just a great group of folks that come down. I feel like it's our up-and-coming drivers. A lot of the younger guys are getting started in the Legends cars and then moving on up the ranks.
Now, what's this I'm hearing about? Super Truck's going to run there, some kind of truck series?
Yes, the Southeast Super Trucks. This is their 3rd season, and they have really, in the past 2 years, the trucks have really, they've grown tremendously. They put on a fabulous show. We're very blessed to have them on our schedule twice this season. They're coming up in April the 11th, and then they'll also be visiting us again August the 22nd. There are a lot of guys from right here in the upstate of South Carolina, as well as in North Carolina, especially around the Asheville area, and they travel to not only Anderson, but they'll be at Greenville, Dillon, Lonesome Pine. If you're in your area and you have an opportunity to see the Southeast Super Trucks, they put on quite a show. We are on the World Wide Web at AndersonMotorspeedway.com and on Facebook and Twitter at AM Speedway, and I have a great guy, Jeff Harbin, that does my social media, and he keeps our great race fans updated on all the goings-on at Anderson Motor Speedway.
Sylvia Porter, thanks for joining us. Fans, stay with us. When we come back, Clint Elkins will join us, and then Tom Pistone.
It's one of our favorite races in one of your favorite cities. This is Kurt Busch and Kyle Busch, and we're talking about Las Vegas and the 2014 Cobalt 400. It's 3 fast days and some high-speed nights.
Kurt and Kyle Busch and all the other stars of NASCAR Sprint Cup are returning to Las Vegas March 7th through 9th. The 2014 Cobalt 400. Weekend ticket packages are available now. Call 800-644-4444 or visit lvms.com today for tickets.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your NASCAR engines. Flora to the South Point Hotel and Casino for the best NASCAR packages in Las Vegas. Smoking deals from March 7th through the 9th. The weekend package, the Sprint Cup package, VIP suite package. All offer deluxe motor coach transportation from the South Point to the track. Plus custom seating just for you at the track. Toll free, 1-866-791-7626. Email reservations at southpointcasino.com or race online to southpointcasino.com. NASCAR and South Point coming at you fast.
This is PRN's At the Track on the Performance Racing Network.
Drivers, start your engines!
The green flag waves. Jeff Gordon gets a big jump on Kevin Harvick.
Junior battling hard against his teammate. They go side by side into 3.
Trouble on the front stretch. A car has slammed the wall. That car got up on its roof, Rob Albright.
He just decided to direct me intentionally down the straightaway.
Looks like Greg Biffle will now own a pair of cowboy hats as he will score his 2nd victory at Texas Motor Speedway. O'Kane made contact. Answers yes. He taps the back bumper of Matt Kenseth. Kenseth, though, holds on, and he will win.
Side by side out front, give Tony Stewart the advantage on the inside.
Danica Patrick gets turned around. Nose first into the inside wall. Classic crossover move by Matt Kenseth. Now tries to squeeze Tony Stewart up to the top of the racetrack. They touch. They slide down the front stretch. Matt Kenseth gets into the wall. Tony Stewart crashes, and the leaders take each other out here at Bristol on lap 332.
The Performance Racing Network.
Welcome back to PRN's At the Track. Remember, we are on Facebook and Twitter. That's PRN At the Track on Facebook and Twitter. And if you're on Twitter, this guy is one of the big guys on Twitter, and his track always is Carolina Speedway down in Gastonia, North Carolina. On the line with us is Clint Elkins. Hey, Clint, welcome to PRN's At the Track.
As always, Lenny, thank you very much for having us on. And can you believe it is already 2014? It's time to go racing. It's crazy how there is absolutely no off-season at all anymore.
Tell folks, before we even get going, Gastonia, North Carolina is not quite on everybody's GPS. Give folks a mapping of where Carolina Speedway is.
Well, the easiest mapping is that you can sit in the grandstands at Carolina Speedway and see the skyline of Charlotte. We are just southwest of Charlotte. We are about 3 miles from the South Carolina state line, so we're not far from anywhere. It is not the easiest place to get to, but it's not far from anywhere at all.
Clint, what's going on at Carolina this coming weekend?
Well, this is probably, if not the most special race we do, one of them. And the race is, it's the 14th annual Skylar Troll Memorial. Skylar was a beautiful little redheaded girl that lost her life way too early to leukemia. The race started some 14 years ago as a dash. Her family's involved with one of the local racers, Doug Sanders and Anthony Sanders, and everybody knew the Troll family. And we were at Cherokee Speedway one night, and they kind of passed the hat and said, "Hey, let's have a little a race." Everybody knew Skylar, knew the Trolls, and said, "Let's have a little race here." And I think they rounded up, like $1,500 or something like that. And now, 14 years later, it has turned into one of the biggest races in the Southeast. The race has a really different feel to it. It's almost like coming to the Shrine Race. Everybody is there, and it's a season opening race, and everybody's there to win. At the same time, everybody has a pep in their step, and everybody's in maybe a little different state of mind because of the significance of the race. We always do a big donation to the Make-A-Wish, and the Troll family makes they make a really combined effort to try to raise some money. And then we always have the pink balloons that go off as the cars come out and do the 4-wide salute to the fans. So it's a special night. I'm very honored and proud to be a part of it. And but it's the race, and we gear it every year. It's a big party, and it is. Everybody comes out and brings their coolers and tailgates and all that stuff. And actually, I think it was last year, Lenny, we had such a renditioning of Toby Keith's Red Solo Cup that it just about drowned the national anthem as we're trying to get going. But it's a big party. It's a lot of fun, and it's one of the signature events every year that we're proud to host.
Well, a lot of fun to be had each and every time that you open the gates there at Carolina Speedway in Gastonia, North Carolina. But it's really been a good year for what you've done down there. 2013 had some successes. What were some of those that Carolina Speedway looks back on fondly as something that you started in 2013 or really pushed big in 13 and was a success?
I think the biggest thing is the fun factor. We took over the racetrack. This will be our 6th year. And I think that we've tried to push the fun factor. And, everybody comes to the racetracks. And look, Lenny, when it's 102 degrees just outside of Charlotte in August, any racetrack's tough to come to sometimes. But we really try to push the fun factor and get everybody to have a good time. We tell everybody every Friday night we have a party. It just so happens to be at a racetrack. And, we have lots of music and lots of games. We do a lot of stuff for kids. I personally am a big atmosphere guy. I love atmosphere. I love to get to the racetrack and you smell fumes and you smell hot dogs cooking. And that's one of the things also we do is, being a Friday night racetrack, we really pride ourselves on having good food. And I think just overall we've come to run a better, more efficient show. Most all times we're out of there by 11 o'clock. And, as far as 2013 goes, I think one of the things that really helped promote Carolina Speedway was the King of the Carolinas race. We promoted that race really, really hard for a calendar year. It was cold as the dickens, but we still had a good time. We had, I think, 186 total race cars, and we'll do it again in October this year. But, if I would look back on 2013, I would say, everybody had a good time. That's why we're there. Now, we may do this stuff as a business, but at the same time, we're all race fans. That's why you do your radio show. That's why I promote races, because we're race fans.
Absolutely.
So that's the biggest thing.
Well, on the line with us is the master of fun, we'll call him for the next few minutes, down at Carolina Speedway, the promoter, Clint Elkins, and Carolina Speedway just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. What kind of events do you got coming for 2014 so we can ramp the fun back up some more?
Well, our weekly programs are so good, Lenny, that we've put a little more focus on them in 2014. We'll bring back our $10,000 points fund that's presented by VP Racing Fuels. I think we're one of the few tracks around that has any type of points fund at all, especially a $10,000 points fund. Every single track champion will win at least $1,000.
You're talking the mini stocks, too?
And front-wheel drives.
Wow.
Front-wheel drives won $1,000, and they'll win it again. And that's one of the things we really emphasize on is our weekly programs. We'll obviously have a couple of sprint car shows. We'll bring the USCS and URC cars from Georgia and from New York. We'll bring them down April the 11th for their first show. Of course, we have the 43rd annual Shrine 100. It's the second Tuesday in August, and then again we'll come back with the King of the Carolinas October 16th through the 18th. So we have a lot of good stuff on tap, and we should be in for a hell of a year.
Well, Clint Elkins is on the line with us from Carolina Speedway in Gastonia, North Carolina. They've got their big Schuyler Troll Memorial Race going to be kicking off their racing season on March 7th and 8th next weekend. And, Clint, where can folks follow you on the World Wide Web if they didn't get all these dates and events and such where they can get out there and be amongst you?
Well, the easiest thing is they can go to carolinaspeedway.net. We do a lot with our website. We actually had 77,000 unique visitors in 2013 to our website. So that thing's always packed with a lot of info. Of course, they can find us on Facebook and on Twitter at Carolina Speed.
And you'll keep them up to date all year long, just like we do here at PRN's At the Track. Clint Elkins, good luck with a great season coming up at Carolina Speedway. And fans, stay with us. When we come back, we're going to be speaking with Speed Week's champion from the Legends Masters Series, the grandson of the famous and great Tiger Tom Pistone, Tom Pistone himself. Next up here on PRN's At the Track. Stay with us.
Have you heard? Proactive is America's #1 acne system because it's fast and gentle, and it's all about prevention. Do you have troubled skin? Acne? With Proactive, you can heal your acne and help prevent new breakouts. Right now, in this radio area, we're looking for just 50 people with moderate acne to demonstrate exactly how fast Proactive works. The first 50 callers who qualify can try Proactive 100% risk-free for 60 days. And we're giving away our amazing dark spot corrector, free and yours to keep, just for participating. With Dark Spot Corrector, it's like your breakouts were never even there. Be one of the 50 people to complete the 100% risk-free trial and get a free Dark Spot Corrector plus free shipping. Supplies are limited and free shipping ends soon. So call now.
800-616-3272. 800-616-3272. 800-616-3272. That's 800-616-3272.
PRN's At the Track returns in a moment. This is PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
Hi, this is Brett McMillan. Each week in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Pit Reporters, we give you an honest look at the week's news.
I can't believe people would even want to write off Jeff Gordon that he's not competitive anymore. That's just ridiculous to me because I feel like drivers can race competitively well into their prime age.
When you look at Jeff Gordon, you know the fire's still there, right? We've seen it. Sometimes you wonder, well, where's the results to match that fire?
There's not been a crisis moment in NASCAR as big, certainly during Brian Prance's tenure.
If you're NASCAR and sitting there going, which storyline is going to benefit this sport best for the long term, which one?
I'm going to say Kyle Busch, partly because he drives the M&M's car, and because of that, he has lots of kids who are fans.
Do you want your NASCAR news unfiltered? Then join me, Brett McMillan, for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Pit Reporters each week on PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
Welcome back to PRN At the Track, your home for Legend Series racing every week of the year. And joining us now from Speed Weeks down in Florida to the racetrack right here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, a winner just about every time he finds a event to follow. On the line with us is the Legends Masters Division champion from Speed Weeks, Tom Pistone. Hey, Tom, welcome to PRN's At the Track.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on.
Well, I see you so many times in Victory Lane here at Charlotte Motor Speedway in the summer shootout, and then you go down to Florida and romp and stomp them there. What was the track at Auburndale like? What were some of the keys to that racetrack?
Well, I tell you, I kind of find that track to be almost like the perfect legend car track. It's not so big that you worry about pounding the wall hard, and it's not so small that you have trouble passing people. It's a really good sized track, and I would really like it down there. It's my second championship that I've had. I have 2 championships and then a second place because I got run into one of the dirt mounds one year down there, and they didn't do a drop anymore. Else I think I would have won 3 championships down there, because I lost one of them by 2 points. But it's a great track. The guy that makes the race calls is a little bit crazy sometimes, but you have to look past it because it's so nice weather. Just such a great situation to go down there and race 5 days right in the middle of winter.
Hey, you guys are called the crazy old men of the sport anyway, so having a crazy official or two, that just goes in with it. Tom Pistone is on the line. He's the Legends Masters champion from Speed Weeks down in Florida. Correct me, it's 5 races over 5 days. Is that how it goes?
Correct. We race Monday through Friday, and each one's basically a separate event. You practice and qualify for each race. They did on the Saturday previous to the first race have like a 1,000 to win money race that was like a non-points race, but that's for the young guys. I don't really get in there and mix up with them, so I'm not even quite sure who won that race.
That's got to be like a land rush and a battle royal kind of all into one. Who were some of the competition that challenged you over those 5 days down in Auburndale?
Well, actually, the competition was in-house. Ira, who comes down from Canada, we call him the Jimmy Johnson of Legend Cars, so I think he's won 3 or 4 of the Nationals now. And then Carl Cormier, who has been racing with me since
we had the Dragon on a couple of weeks ago. Folks know that name for sure.
Yep, so we used to call him Carl the Dragon, Draggin, but now that he's won a few races and some championships, I guess we'll go ahead and give him the actual animal, so Carl the Dragon.
Well, he's earning his soda shop at Davidson, title and notoriety now, I guess.
Yeah, he's the toast of Davidson.
You know, you're there in close competition with the same drivers, not only within your camp, but within these other camps, and I know there's a rivalry. What's that like, racing day after day after day against the same competition? What are some of the stress points on a driver having to go out each day and do it again?
Well, I always feel repetition's the mother of all skills, and so when you're out there each day with very similar track conditions, outside of if somebody blows up, you can just keep tweaking on your driving and work on your points and make sure that you're doing what's right. Because 9 times out of 10, with my brother Chase and his business CP Inc., the car's there, and so if you can't go out and perform with it, you have to look at yourself, because when some of the other kids with the exact setup are running 3 or 4 tenths faster than you, it's you, it's not the car. And so it's a pretty big eye-opener when you're not performing. And so it issues a challenge. You have to get out there and drive in a little harder and get on the gas a little bit sooner and just know that it's going to stick.
Well, that sounds like most of the great racers that we have on here. It's very similar, no matter whether you're hot lapping on a dirt track or on a short track. On the line with us is Speed Weeks champion from the Legends Masters division and also one of the top competitors here at Charlotte Motor Speedway's Summer Shootout, Tom Pistone. And Tom, you spoke about Chase and the crew chiefs. There's a big competition within the crew chief world out there, isn't it? It gets pretty good rivalry on the Legends series, doesn't it?
Yes, and the Legend cars are kind of different than any series I've ever seen. These guys take the rivalries to a different level. There's a lot of disdain in between these different camps of crew chiefs that have the different cars, and it definitely adds some spice to the racing, to say the least. For my end, this is like my 3rd year in Legend cars. People get kind of confused because in my family we name each other the same thing, so there's probably 4 or 5 Tom Pistones out there, but
well, your grandpa Tiger Time did okay, so being named after him isn't a bad thing.
Right. But we kind of go like I have another brother named Tom, and we call him Carpet Tom because he lays carpet and tile. And so everybody just kind of then there's Tiger Tom, and so we have the different Toms. But with the Legend car deal, I don't kind of get involved in the drama because I don't really know who to hate, and so. I'll just kind of say hi to everybody.
Well, that's always a good thing. On the line with us is Tom Pistone, the winner from Speed Weeks, the Legends Masters division. What is it about a Legends car? You've been around racing, your grandpa racing at Chicago Soldier Field. You field a lot of late model teams on the pavement. What makes a Legends car fun to drive for the folks that are listening in on these radio stations all over the Southeast? Tell them what the thrill is with that.
Well, I tell you, it honestly is affordable racing. And I know a lot of people will say, well, how can you say that when, you're having to buy more tires and you have to rebuild a motor? All I can tell you is go run a 20-race season at Hickory Speedway in a late model, and you'll come back to legend cars a happy person. One crash in a late model almost could be your budget for the season in a legend car. And so, when you knock the wall down, you have to put a clip on it. After spending the money that I have over the years driving a late model, the sticker shock of having to fix it is really nothing compared to when you're dealing with the big car stuff. I mean, you could look at a crash that could basically buy you a brand new legend car on a Saturday night on your local short track. So the cost thing's big, and I got to tell you, the power to weight ratio is, in my opinion, probably one of the fastest cars out there. And surprisingly, with the tires that we run being radials, even though you cut the tires down, it's incredible grip. They really have great grip for not being a smooth, true racing tire. So It's a thrill. They're really fun, good competition, and if anybody's on the fence ever thinking about getting involved in this, you can get into it relatively inexpensive.
Tom, where can folks find out more about you and your racing team so they can follow you on the World Wide Web?
Well, my brother Chase's website is chasepistoneracing.com. That's where you can kind of get the nuts and bolts of it. If you're looking for a car, looking for tires, looking for setup type stuff. He's very tough to get on the phone, so you have to bear with him. He's not the greatest at answering the phone, but when you finally get him, he's going to take care of you. And then myself, I haven't actually linked my website up in a while, so it's not online, but on Twitter, it's just Tom Pistone, just the name, @Tom Pistone, and then, of course, I'm on Facebook with my rants about toll roads that we share.
Well, Tom Pistone, we appreciate all the victory lanes that you just came from down at Auburndale Speedway and Speed Weeks. Thanks for joining us at Fans. Stay with us. We'll be right back with more of PRN's At the Track.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your NASCAR engines. Flora to the South Point Hotel and Casino for the best NASCAR packages in Las Vegas. Smoking deals from March 7th through the 9th. The weekend package, the Sprint Cup package, VIP suite package. All offer deluxe motor coach transportation from the South Point to the track. Plus custom seating just for you at the track. Toll free, 1-866-791-7626. Email reservations at southpointcasino.com or race online to southpointcasino.com. NASCAR at South Point, coming at you fast.
It's one of our favorite races in one of your favorite cities. This is Kurt Busch and Kyle Busch, and we're talking about Las Vegas and the 2014 Cobalt 400. It's 3 fast days and some high-speed nights.
Kurt and Kyle Busch and all the other stars of NASCAR Sprint Cup are returning to Las Vegas March 7th through 9th. The 2014 Cobalt 400. Weekend ticket packages are available now. Call 800-644-4444 or visit lvms.com today for tickets.
PRN's At the Track returns in a moment. This is PRN, the Performance Racing Network.
Hi, this is Doug Rice. Join me every Monday night at 7 p.m. for the latest edition of Fast Talk. We'll break down the action from the weekend, and we'll talk with the stars of NASCAR.
Rick saw what Jeff Gordon could do. Rick believed in what Ray Evernham could do. And he gave those two guys every opportunity and every tool they needed at that time to race against those guys that they were racing against. And as the progression of the sport and as the sport has changed and grown, he's continued to be that guy behind the scenes.
I've been very fortunate, Doug. Jimmy is just such a talent, and you worry about a brand new team and a brand new driver, and boy, would have never thought that here we would be in this position with him.
Where would you like to visit? What's the most exotic place on the planet that Matt Kins would like to visit?
Probably Martinsville, Virginia.
Really? That's out there.
Yeah, that's I heard it's.
You've never been past the racetrack.
It's Fast Talk every Monday night at 7 Eastern.
The checkered flag is in the air. There's a bunch of happy people waiting at Victory Lane to greet the winning driver. And there were plenty of them down in Florida. Of course, Dale Jr. taking his win. Steve Kinser taking a win. And you know what? They're both coming here to the tracks at Charlotte Motor Speedway in May. That's right. Not only Dale Jr. on the Sprint All-Star Weekend and the Coca-Cola 600, but right in between them, Steve Kinser and the World of Outlaws will be at the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And, of course, Z-Max Dragway's got 4 Wide coming up. The Auto Fair is coming here. Check charlottemotorspeedway.com, the place to race right here, Charlotte Motor Speedway. We can't wait to see you here. Want to thank Sylvia Porter, Clint Elkins, and of course Tom Pistone for being our guest. Thank you for listening in, and get out there and support those short tracks, dirt tracks, and Legend Series tracks. You can follow us here at PRN at the Track on Twitter. We'd love to have you in the conversation. And until next week, I'm Lenny Baticki. We'll see you once again at PRN's At the Track, presented by Charlotte Motor Speedway. So long.
You've been listening to PRN's At the Track with Lenny Baticki, the show that lets you hear from the roots of racing. PRN's At the Track is a presentation of PRN, the Performance Racing Network.